Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and first off, I just want to greet everyone a happy new year. I hope that 2021 will be better for all of us physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and in other aspects of our lives. Now, I just want to thank everyone first who has joined me this year with all of the things that I've shared here on this channel, and especially ever since I started doing a more niched type of content since 2018. You know, ever since that time, that was really when I found like my voice of what I want to use this platform for, just share, you know, this thing that I'm very passionate about. And obviously there are things happening in my own life behind the scenes that I don't really talk about here on my channel, but and that's the reason, you know, why this video is going to have this particular theme rather than, you know, an actual recap of what happened to me in the entirety of 2020. But, you know, this is something that I've shared with all of you, and I feel like, and I hope that, you know, my content somehow provided a little bit of like, I don't know, entertainment or comfort for you, especially considering, you know, with things that happened last year. Obviously, like these types of things, you know, I only get to talk about it also coming from a place of privilege, and I acknowledge and I understand that. But I hope that in some way, you know, someone out there who's seen my content, I hope that it provided you a little bit of like, I don't know, just positivity in a way as well. And again, just a disclaimer, this isn't just how I spent my last year, obviously, but given how this is something that I've chosen to share with everyone who watch my content here on my channel, like this is what I want to focus on for this particular video. And yeah, again, I hope that this coming year would be a lot more better for all of us, especially more so to those people who need it most. But before we get all like sappy and everything here, so let's just get to it. Before I start, I just want to put it out there that before I started making this video, I started to write down some notes as to how my life was like, my fangirl life was like last year. And I realized that for the most chunk of it, it was just about miman and kentosho. Like that was how, I mean, it wasn't even like 2020, December 31, 2019, that was already what I was thinking about. And then like for the most of it, that's basically a sum up of what my 2020 was about. So I don't know, just putting it out there. But funnily enough, so just jumping off from that, I remember watching Johnny's countdown from 2019 and seeing the two of them, you know, share the same screen. And I was like, would it be interesting if they had a project together? Because obviously, like one of my first J-dramas ever, back when I was a preteen or teen, early teens, was Nobutawa Produce. And even prior to me knowing about the whole like Johnny's thing, obviously that starred Kamepi with Horikita Maki. And after me, you know, discovering Johnny's, I figured, you know, that was such a smart move in a way, because as much as I have like my own opinions about certain things, we can't deny that Kamepi, you know, that duo of them coming from different groups at the time, but then having this unit thing happening, and then with Seishun Amigo and everything like that. So that worked. And after, I'm not even sure how many years it's been, but they've had a reunion drama, which I've seen. But I figured that, you know, it's kind of interesting because there's a nostalgia factor to that tandem. Like obviously they've done this with other like mashups of like idols being in the same drama or whatever like that. But for some reason, like that tandem, Kame and Yamapi, that worked enough to even get, you know, a reunion project years down the line, and supposedly this whole like tour that got canceled, but I wouldn't really dive more into that. But anyways, like, you know, just that idea alone, so I figured that, you know, it might work for these two. And then it was 11 p.m. here, so obviously New Year time, if we're talking about Japan, that I was just randomly scrolling through Twitter, and then I saw this Twitter account pop up, and I was right. Like there was this entire kentosho thing that was going to happen for 2020, and I was like, did I just manifest that or something? But that immediately got me excited. Like that, I was like, I didn't know what the year was going to hold for me at that point, but that really got me excited because obviously I was already a fan of King and Prince back then. Then for Kento, I've listened to some of Sexy Zone's discography back then, but it was really more of like I'm really most familiar with him and Shori because of the whole drama J movie aspect of it. Like I've seen most of their projects in the past and therefore I'm more familiar with them. So, but I don't know, like there's just something about this that I feel like just clicked so much, and I feel like Kamepi 2.0, or it might be more epic than that. Kamepi stands, please don't come for me. I'm just saying it just to put it out there. But you know, there's just something about it that excited me so much. And funnily enough, January to March 2020, even prior to the whole pandemic thing, lockdown thing happening, there was something in my personal life, professional life that was happening then that was so crazy that I just needed some extra dose of just like positivity around the time. Like there was just something crazy happening at the time that, you know, I was anxiously hoping for updates as to what the project was going to be about, because that was something that I was holding on, one of the things that I was holding on to in terms of positivity around the time. And it took a month. Like I remember that so vividly. They posted something around February 15, I think, that they're saying, you know, they're finally going to reveal some details or whatnot about the project. And I was like, it took you this long. Like I was waiting for a month. And then yeah, and then that's when the whole, you know, miman thing started happening. Now, I already figured that it was going to be either a drama or a movie. But one thing that I was unsure at the time was what genre was it going to be about, because obviously I feel like for both Sho and Kento, they've already exhausted the whole high school narrative at that point. So it was really something that I was interested about. And the thing with this is that as I was writing down my notes, funnily enough, there's just like, this is gonna go on until December. I mean, I'm gonna be talking about them until I recap the whole like December thing. So, just another disclaimer. But yeah, when they finally announced that, you know, this is what the project is gonna be about and everything like that, I was pretty stoked because initially it was supposed to be, it was supposed to air April, 11 April, if I remember correctly. And the reason why it's so vivid for me is because I was more excited about Miman airing rather than my own 25th birthday, which falls on the same month. Like it was that intense. And again, like that first 3 months of 2020 was really something. And then the whole lockdown pandemic thing happened mid-March. And there were so many changes and so many things that had to be dealt with, that, you know, just the idea of, you know, seeing this and having something to look forward to every single week when the drama starts airing, that was something that literally was something that I was looking forward to quite a lot at the time. But then April came, and obviously the whole Rona situation wasn't getting better. But I still hope that, you know, it's going to be more exciting. I don't know, like nothing really happened on my 25th birthday, which was a week prior to the 11th. But again, I was really just let this weekend. I want to find out if they're going to air the first episode or not. But then I found out that they were going to postpone it, and that Nobuta Wa Produce was going to be re-aired in the time slot that Miman was supposed to take for that particular month. And I figured, you know what? This is what I was saying. Again, this is the whole like Kamepi thing all over again. But what's interesting about that is that it prolonged the promo for Miman even more, having all these like different projects and things with Kento and Sho and everything like that. And that was pretty interesting for me because I really, really liked their dynamic. And I just love seeing them on variety shows and magazines and everything like that. And to be fair, like majority of my 2020, just looking back, it was really watching over the projects and the performances that they had along with Sexy Zone and King and Prince. So I don't know. I feel like 2020 was just dominated by those two for me in terms of fangirl aspect. Obviously. And then come June, July, when the first episode started airing already, I think that was around the time when I also started working on content for it every single week. And it was also around the time that I was at the peak of, this is one aspect that I want to improve on for this year. This type of like content thing where I not only do it for myself and then just that, but more of like seek out people who also share the same passion and love for it. And that's when I started, tapping into the communities. They're also into J entertainment and J dramas and anything like that. And that's when I started actively, sharing my reviews, not just here on YouTube, but also on Facebook, on my own page and something like that. So there's that. But then August happened and Facebook sort of like took down some of my content that I was restricted from posting for at least, I don't know, like 3-4 months, that I figured, what the heck. So I'm still gonna try and push out there. And I've already been lurking on Stan Twitter for quite some time now. It's just that, I was like pretty shy to like follow some people or like already some tweets or anything like that. I'm not sure why, but why it took me this long to really just dive right into it. But because my page was down at that time, August was when I started, really tapping more into like people who share the same thoughts on Twitter. And that's when the whole like thing happened. Now, I've mentioned this before where I'm really not into the whole like keeping too many accounts type of thing. So that's why my IRL account also became my Stan account, and I'm just like a full-blown fan account at this point. But the thing with that is that's when I started, meeting these types of people that I've never really imagined I would earn more friends, especially people who share the same interests in the platform through that method. I never expected that 2020 would be the year that I would make new friends, period, in general. I've never expected that that I would have like people who I would genuinely care about more again, more so than the circle I already have at this point, at this stage in my life, or meeting anyone that I would be so fond of just talking to at this rate. But I did in this year, and I have like my fangirling life to thank for that. But that was when things started turning around for me, August. That was also when King and Prince's second album was announced, Land. So that was pretty interesting for me because like with the whole, like before I just have to like travel and get like the albums or anything like that, like merchant stuff there. Not necessarily like do the whole shipping thing. It's been like quite some time before I got into the whole shipping thing. So that was pretty exciting for me, the whole waiting game thing. Because even if I've done it before, it felt kind of fresh again for 2020. And obviously, like, you have to consider the circumstances of how it's going to be about given the whole Rona situation, and then how would that affect, shipping and things getting to you and everything like that. So also got to know a lot of people from that experience, and got to be good friends with some of the people that I've started just talking about, and then we started talking about things that we have in common. And I don't know, like, I think August to September was quite that month where I started meeting new people through this method, and it became a lot more interesting to me in a way. I mean, it's already interesting to me before because I got to like do it and talk about it, but back then it was more individualistic in a way that I push out content out there, people react to that type of content, but there were lesser back and forths. But this time, it was really me connecting to these people through something that we liked collectively, and at the same time, like, getting to know them as people outside of just being fans, and then still going back to this common thing that we have. So that was interesting. It was also around the time that, you know, online concerts started happening, and I've talked about this before. I've never been to an actual concert before. So for this to be like my first concert and to share it with, you know, like-minded people and start getting into the warmth of the community was such an experience for me. And there's more so for that because, you know, September, October, concerts started happening. November, there was arafes as well. And yeah, and from there, you know, I also, like, there's just so many things that happened right after August. And solely for that, I feel like my entire year was just divided from, you know, this whole chunk of me being just so focused on miman, and then the second part of that is just getting to know this community even more and just enjoying and earning new friends. And I don't know, like, there's just something about that. And then for December, I feel like I've watched more concerts last year alone than what I could have had done even before the pandemic, because I've seen Double Trouble for Jay West, and then I've seen This Is Arashi as well, and then also there's also that whole thing earlier into the year with the whole like Happy Lives one, which I've also seen. So it's kind of like pretty interesting so far. There's just so many, like, as I mentioned, what's interesting is that last night, you know, waiting for the new year and everything, so I was watching a lot of things simultaneously. There's Kohaku, and then there's This Is Arashi Live, and then there's also Johnny's Countdown, just so many things. But it's a lot more fun because I got to do it with like people who are reacting to it live along with me, who it's more of like, you know, like, what, even if you're in different places, you sort of like share the same experience together, and I like that. And obviously, like, okay, so focusing more on like This Is Arashi Live last night, obviously, like, the group is currently on hiatus as of today, but that one, for me personally, I know that a lot of people are emotional about it and everything like that. For me, for some reason, like, given the entire year that they've given regarding this experience, I didn't really feel sad by the end of it, but more of just the idea that they did well and they did more than they can to really make this special, considering the circumstances that sort of like that sort of like altered their supposed plans for this year. Given how, you know, things turned out and how more people got to experience it because of what happened. Not saying that, you know, the whole situation is good. It's just that Arashi still did their best to maximize the experience and deliver it to more people. So that's why, as I've tweeted last night, it was really more of that feeling of satisfaction and pride. I don't really feel sad about it, but rather excited as to what they have in store outside of, you know, Arashi. Because for sure, like, they didn't disappear. It was more of like their group is taking a break, but more so like as individuals, I'm really excited as to what they're gonna put out there, because they've been doing it for years. Like, they've had their own thing for years, and that's just gonna continue even with this hiatus ongoing, and I'm just really excited as to how that is gonna be. So yeah, so overall, I feel like how the year started and how the year ended, it's pretty interesting, it's pretty exciting. It's something that for me is fulfilling as on the fangirl aspect of it. Again, it served as a great way to sort of like with everything else happening behind the scenes or in our real lives or anything like that, it was kind of great that despite the distance, this is a shared experience, and I just love that idea, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone that I met in 2020 because of those kinds of circumstances. And I know that it's been trying for everyone. Like, I've met some people at the time who at first we were just sharing this very thing that was pretty common for all of us, and then after a couple of conversations you find out that there's more to their story than what they're letting on their in public. And just having these types of connections, this is a world that we all share, where we sort of like manifest things that are positive for all of us, but it doesn't necessarily have to be just the one that we're living in. We have lives outside of it, but it's just a lot more comforting because you get to share it with like-minded people who sort of like share the same escapism as you do. And yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what this video was supposed to be about. Honestly, I just want to make this type of recap thing to sort of like, I don't know, thank people who I've met this year. I've also want to thank my friends, my constants who I've learned so much about this year as well. Like, there's sometimes, like, some of my longest friends, my most beloved friends, there's some things about their fangirl lives that I've discovered this year that I've never really knew before. And to think that we've been friends for like more than a decade now or so, but that you forget to talk about, I don't know, the simplest of things like hobbies and stuff like that. And it's quite interesting because 2020, because I've turned to this other aspect of my life a lot more so at that year. I got to pay attention more to what drives my other friends outside of our real lives more as well. So yeah, there's just so many things again, and I'm not sure how to end this video anymore or anything like that. I'm not sure what I wanted to talk about other than the fact that, most of my 2020 is basically just a chunk of kentosho, I guess. But I'm just really looking forward to having another year of just sharing these things about J entertainment, J drama, J music, anything to all of you guys. And I hope that I get to know more of you as well and talk to you as well about the things that you like. And I don't know, but yeah, here's to a fulfilling 2021 for all of us. More conversations with everyone, whether it be in the comment section or in my other platforms. I'm looking forward to sharing another year with you. And yeah, so with that said, tell me down in the comments below just your thoughts about 2020 in general, and just the things that you've enjoyed or things that you would want me to talk more about in 2021, or I don't know. But yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, even if it's directionless at some point. But yeah, thank you so much, and looking forward to seeing you again soon in a new one.